purse dry heat. The asphalt sings beneath our feet. Every corner, every turn we own. Inter's Racing League is home. No brakes, no fear, we own this track. Push the limit, no turning back. Faster, stronger, we're breaking through. Inter's Racing League, it's what we do. We are the speed, we are the light. Inter's Racing League, tearing through the night. Circuit kings with a need for pace. This is our time, this is our race. Enter my under the southern sun. Rubber burns and the race has begun. Inter's Racing League, the speed is our creed. Fuel the fire, we're born to lead. Lights go green and the world's a blur. Chasing glory, feel the engine purr. Wheels keep spinning, hearts on fire. Chasing the thrill, climbing higher and higher. We are the speed, we are the light. Inter's Racing League, tearing through the night. Circuit kings with a need for pace. This is our time, this is our race.
Alright, hopefully we are live. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to Inter's Racing League Season 9. Round number 5 of the Tier 1 boys. The Brazilian Sprint. Logan sitting in the fastest lap time on a 1:19.891. You can see it is rain for the guys. Apologies, a little bit of a late start. So sprint qualifying 1, so 12-minute session to open us up for the night. Farmer Sam 18.6. A couple of guys just before we joined were on the softs trying to get a lap time in. Clearly did not happen. So guys are now out on the full intermediate tyres, and I believe it will be inters for the entire session. I believe the rest of the night should be dry. So we'll see. So, but welcome as Oscar retiring in pit lane. So he's done that on track, actually. Which was a little bit naughty if that is what he's done. He's good to go now. Apollo not in the circuit. Obviously joined the lobby. It's caused a couple of little graphical issues, so hopefully we can get that. As you can see, Jono, fastest lap 17.9, but absolutely no front wing, which we know is completely false. So just keep an eye on that. Hopefully with the transition between quali and the race, some of those glitches hopefully should fix us up. Again, short session, obviously. Normally you'd only have potentially 2 runs if it was a dry sprint quali, one on the medium and then one on the softs. But obviously intermediate tyres, and I believe if there's no more rain, pretty much you can use as many inters as you want, because you won't need them for the rest of the night. So I'd see a few guys having a couple of cracks to try and get pole for the sprint. Obviously top 8 drivers finishing in the sprint will pick up points. We'll head over one of the sours, letter P, coming into the pit lane. Now about the other Mercedes, Jono is in. So looking like only one Merc. We've got both Ferraris in, both RBs, as we nearly go side by side between Sam and I think that was one of the McLarens, lone McLaren actually. So Meowsy the only one in, as the other Sauber Fat Cat Batman goes onto the front row just, but that's quickly pipped by Sir Joshy, 17.7. So nice lap in. So just under 6 minutes left to go in the session. Yusuf goes into P2 as Websy goes to the top on a 17.5 as Campbell straight away beats that. No surprising, Campbell's near the front of the pack, 17.3. As it's a very interesting front wing. Wings disappeared except for sort of the bottom part of the wing. So you love this game with the glitches. So as Jono is in, so Fraser is in the pit lane as well. Still showing me Apollo is in the pit lane. Oh, as that's wide from Sam, big slide, thankfully saves it. So he's been on the same set of intermediate tyres since the start. Really sort of sliding around that RB. So 16 drivers. We might have a couple joining a little bit later on in the session. Just having a quick look at the driver chat. Right, so all good, Farmer Sam. Rounding turn number 12. Another big slide. So it won't be quick enough for a lap. Just barely avoids the Red Bull. I think both of them will be coming in this lap. You've got Meowsy coming in as well. So you'll have everybody on a fresh intermediate tyre going for their final run. As I said, you won't need inters for the rest of the afternoon, so no point saving them. As you've got Ollie Stevens coming into the pit lane as well. Just manages to slow it up in time. Although he's out on track, I know that because he's added another lap to his inters. I just have no idea where he is on track. But got Fraser Clegg coming out on track. So Fins. So I decided just to wait for the last, do one and only run. Wait for the track to get a little bit better. You can't really see that much of a dry or dryish line. But these should be the best conditions for these drivers. So we'll see Fraser do potentially 2 laps. He's coming out with 3 minutes 15 left on the clock, so he'll be able to do one run, do a cool down lap, and then go again. So he'll have time for that. So, Fraser's in. Alright, so why has he come in? So 3 minutes left. Doesn't look like he picked up any damage, so good choice. Polo's doing another lap. As I said, Polo might be like 4th or 5th for as far as I'm aware. Right, we'll have a look. Who we got? Jono. So I got the Sauber just sort of getting out of the way. So Jono coming up towards turn number 8 now. So the tighter, twistier part of the circuit, sector 2. Looks steady, that Mercedes, as we make our way through turn 11. Are we flat out through turn 11? Pretty much off turn 12. Your final braking point, realistically, but it's flat out through 13 here, 14 and 15 coming up. So it's pretty much pedal to the floor, run to the line. Jono currently in P5, 17.9. Bumps themselves up to provisional pole, 17.3. He doesn't have a lot of margin to play with. Minute 40 left on the clock. He'll be able to save battery and go again. It depends on the tyres. And does he have enough grip, enough wear? Yeah, adds graphical glitch on my behalf because I joined the lobby after they green flagged it. So this game, when you like to spectate it, when you join halfway through, it likes to give half the drivers no wing. So a different glitch that they like to invent. So yeah, you see multiple things. Sir Joshi starting their next lap now. So 17.1. So Purple in the first sector, nearly 0.2 of a second up on their own lap time. They need to find you reckon if Sir Josh can get 17 flat, will be very, very competitive. Problem is with Campbell Adams, with Websy, with Yusuf on this grid, it's going to be very, very hard to try and get onto the front row. But Sir Joshy, as long as he can nail his lap, you can get, 17 flat, maybe even duck into the 16s. It's definitely pushing it, but it put him in prime position to be right up there. As he a little slide through 11. So half second up. So just needs to ace this corner. It looked good. So the Ferrari driver, as Fat Cat Batman goes 17.1, it is going to be very close between the two. Sir Joshi, can he pip that time? He can by the very minimum amount that you can. 0.108. Barely anything in between them. However, you've still got Campbell, you've still got Websy, and you've still got Yusuf on a lap time. Yusuf will be the first of the three to cross the line. Actually, we'll go to Farmer Sam first because he's up by 0.7 of a second. So it'll be Farmer Sam, Yusuf, Campbell, Websy. That's the order we'll follow the guys through the line. So Oliver into P7. Farmer Sam, can he get close to a 17.1? No, he goes a 17.6. Yusuf, no, Meowsy, sorry, goes into the top three. Yusuf crossed the line. He goes provisional pole. You've got Campbell and Websy. Campbell just puts 4/10 on the rest of the field. What about Websy? Can he get into the 16s as well? He can, and he's less than a 10th off Campbell. Websy, not quite enough. But Campbell and Yusuf, great laps at the end. Jono goes into P4. Fat Cat, I think, is done. What about Fraser Clegg? He's out of turn 13 now. So flat to the start-finish line. No time yet on the board. He needs to get up there. And he crosses the line. He gets P8. Solid lap time. But you could see how close it was. A lot of guys, a 17 flat or a 17.1. Barely anything covering the guys. But Campbell Adams, just as he does, puts it right up there. Websy was not too far behind though. So fantastic race from fantastic qualifying, apologies, that we saw. Campbell less than a 10th ahead of Websy, but then you can see there was quite a big margin to Yusuf and Jono, Sir Joshi and co. So yeah, that's great qualifying. We'll scroll down. Gregory and Prince OK, Oscar. Obviously, two guys we expect to be right up there as well. So I'm expecting those boys to pretty much come back through the field very quickly. So looking at overcast conditions. As we just wait for the drivers to make any setup changes. I reckon a few guys definitely would have put a bit more front wing on in that quali session. Obviously, you'd want to leave it a dry setup, knowing what the race was going to be like. So it would have just been a little bit of wing. Obviously, a little bit of the tyre pressure difference, maybe a little change in the diff. So they're probably three things they'll have to change back. We'll wait and see. We're not too far away. So 12 laps will be your sprint here around Brazil. So no pit stops necessary, as we do have the lights now on. Thank you very much for joining us as we begin race number 1 of the night. And it is Campbell and Yusuf. Is it going to be Red Bull 1 and 2 as Websy makes a huge lunge down the inside and he's had a half spin. That's going to drop him right down the field. is down to P8, so currently it is Red Bull 1 and 2. Jono's up into P3, Fat Cat Batman in P4, Sir Josh in 5th, Meowsy in 6th, as Websy going to have to try and make huge ground as he goes up the inside. No, who was that? No, that was Fraser up the inside of a few cars. Letter P in 9th, as you got a Haas driver, Gregory, I think, going wide, as you got Letter P and Fraser fighting side by side through 7. You got someone going really wide. That's the Haas of Gregory trying to make up positions as he's on the hard compounder tyres as well, really fighting through. There's a little bit of contact with the Ferrari of Oliver. So really trying to force his way through. You can see it. Left side end plate is gone off the Haas driver. So he's obviously picked up damage potentially through 1 and 2. So he's going to be a little bit slow off. Prince is going super wide. He does manage just to keep it on track. So a bit of chaos back. Logan's down to P15. We'll head back up to the front because Campbell, Yusuf, Johnny, your top 3. And it is Campbell setting the fastest lap. So ties that everybody are on. I thought Gregory and Prince would have been the only 2 on the hards, and they are. So they're going to look for a tyre advantage at the end of the race. As you go side by side between Apollo and Gregory. Apollo will have the inside line. Who has DRS? I think both of them will. So Gregory's going to have to make this move around the outside if he wants to pull it off. And I think Apollo just decided to let him go there. So Gregory up into 11th. So single file through the rest of the field. DRS obviously already activated this lap. So potential we'll see the 2 Red Bull boys. Do we see them just sort of work together? Yusuf, does he want to have a bit of a lunge at Campbell at turn number 1? Said only a sprint, so you get some points, but not a whole lot. Got to be inside the top 8. Remember, Farmer Sam claiming that last points paying position in 8. He's got letter P half a second behind him. As we come back onto the start finish straight, Campbell Adams will cross the line. I'd imagine another fastest lap from Campbell, 9 flat. Yusuf nearly got out to that 1 second gap, but DRS helping him stay within. Jono, Fat Cat Batman, Sir Joshy, Websy, after that sort of incident at turn 1 at the half spin, clawed his way back up into P6, and he's still with inside DRS, so thankfully for him, he hasn't lost a lot of time. As you go side by side, it is the Ferrari and the Aston Martin. So Prince all trying to get his nose up around the outside. There's a little bit of contact, but Prince finally gets that move done. And he's up into P14. Apollo gets past Fraser. You can see Fraser, complete left side wing is gone. So that's why he's struggling and falling back. I think he's trying to hope for a safety car. You won't really get one. And I think at this pace, he's going to be eaten up from the guys behind, unfortunately, with the damage. So we'll look for maybe a pit stop this lap. As Sir Joshy sitting comfortably in P5. So very close. Yeah, I figured Fraser would have to come in. So he needs a bit of a miracle. Does retire from the session. As I said, it would have been very hard from there to get back up into P8. So he'll sit out the rest of the session, come back in at main qualifying. So unlucky for the Williams driver. He started in P8 as well, so obviously contact somewhere in the opening couple of laps and has sent him straight back down. Yeah, true, Devo. Gregory was pretty much off track for the majority of that opening lap from what we saw. A bit of a gap now between P10 and 11, but if you'd want anyone to lead the second pack, it'd definitely be Oscar. So P11. So we'll see if he can sort of close back. Obviously on the hards as a reminder, so looking to be a little bit better in the final stages. Gregory, obviously, his progress has just slowed a little bit just due to the fact that obviously with the wing damage on the left-hand side, he just can't do much about it. So we'll head further up. So Fat Cat Batman on board with Sauber. So you can see the 3 guys in front, and Yusuf just holding sort of about that 6, 7, 10th of a gap when DRS is on. So obviously never in danger. Jono want to get a bit of a move on. Looked a little bit to the left, but Yusuf covered that nicely. And Jono just has to sit back into P3. You got a little bit more movement. Oliver Gotten past Apollo, I think. Letter P's got a 3-second time penalty, same as Apollo now. As we go side by side, and it's going to be Logan around the outside. Apollo still got the nose up there. But Apollo lets that go. Logan moves up into 13th. So, Tier 2 driver. Logan actually looked really strong yesterday in Tier 2. Won the sprint, and unfortunate in qualifying for the main race. Yeah, he really suffered, but he did a fantastic comeback race. Would have got a podium, but I think he picked up a 10-second penalty for speeding in pit lane. So Logan obviously wanting to reserve up. He's looked strong. But, yeah, just unfortunately the quite got the pace. Just sort of matched the other guys, but as I said, I think Logan, I don't think qualifying went 100% his way. We'll see what he can do as we follow both our Red Bull boys. So still 1 and 2. So maximum points. It's a little slide from Yusuf off of 4. So everyone's still within DRS until you get down to Gregory, who has made a move on letter P. So I think letter P will just try and stick with a bit of DRS. So this is going to be the time where all these guys' medium tyres will start just not feeling the best. I know that the medium tyres, a lot of guys, I think, were getting over 60% tyre wear when you finish the sprint in both Tier 3 and Tier 2. So not surprise me if we're getting that the exact same for these guys. As we see Campbell across the finish line once again. So half race distance is complete in the sprint. He's got about a 7/10 lead. And to be fair, Yusuf probably hasn't been anywhere close to have a move on him. Might be saving his tyres as well. Jono's been the one that's sort of trying to fight his way through. Jono looks a little glance to the left. Be nothing doing there. Oscar has now gotten past letter P. Letter P, I'd imagine, wouldn't have made that too difficult. Maybe just hope that sort of two guys in front can sort of drag him to the next lot. And if letter P sort of looked up, I was going to say, as soon as letter P looked after his tyres, he might have actually had a chance. But just as I opened my mouth, he has a spin, or sort of a half spin through 7. He has to cut the grass. Probably lucky that he didn't pick up a penalty. He's now having to really try and fight his way and recover. Apollo right on his ass. So, letter P, his tyres will be feeling ordinary after that moment. And out of turn 12, it's going to be Apollo that's going to be on the hunt to try and get past the Sauber. As we got Oscar, meanwhile, Oscar's got past Gregory. And obviously Gregory with the front wing damage going to struggle. So maybe Oscar can have a better shout as Apollo gets past letter P at turn number 1. So letter P just sliding that car. So P14 for the Sauber driver Apollo up to 13th. So this pack of 5 sort of getting dropped a little bit now. So the 2 hard runners closing in. Farmer Sam, he's lost DRS to the 7 in front. So Sam's tyres, I have a feeling, will be starting to go. As we head up to the top group. Pretty much order has not changed since the opening lap. It's definitely a DRS training, unfortunately. There's not really a way you can fight it. You need the driver in front to sort of fall out of DRS like Farmer Sam has. And as I said, Farmer Sam, I think, had a little bit of moment off of 12 because Prince has already flown past up into P8. Gregory, does he go for the move as well? And I don't think Farmer Sam will fight him too hard, knowing that they're on the hard compounder tyre. So this has been a great choice for him. Going on the harder tyre, they obviously started at the back. Open for Farmer Sam. Farmer Sam will do the exact same thing, try and hold on to their DRS. So Prince only a second and a half behind Meowsy, currently in P7. So Websy, Sir Joshy will be their next target. So Joshy. So we'll keep a bit of an eye on these guys. I think we're going to pretty much see the action with Prince and Gregory making their way through. In saying that, Yusuf's dropped DRS, did he? Yes, he did. So Jono, this is Jono's chance to potentially get the move. Does he have to go? Does he go for the move now, or does he wait for turn 1 or turn 4? Sorry. Right, oh, I think he might have. Maybe should have had a crack at turn 1 because Campbell just slowed up enough to give him DRS, or Yusuf just burnt a lot of his battery too. So Jono, not quite. Yeah, I think Jono may have just needed to send the move at turn 1. Just sort of to be able to do that, and then maybe just try and fight Yusuf off at turn 4, but I have to sit back, and again, it's going to be about half a second, so it'll be a tough ask now. 2.5 laps left, and you got Meowsy really on the back of Websy. Problem is he's got to have one eye in the rearview mirror because he's got Prince right on his back. Yellow flag. And it is Letter Peas who's had a spin where he lost it a couple of laps ago. So Peas really struggling as Websy. Oh, surely that was close. Websy may be vulnerable here. I don't think he got DRS. I think he just slipped out of it. And his DRS is not open. But look at Oscar. He's going to try and do the double overtake. He takes the racing line. You've got the McLaren having a bit of a lunge. It's a half slide for the McLaren. Oscar's going to try and stick his nose up in there. He did get a 3-second penalty though. He might say that he was forced off track. As we'll keep an eye on it. Websy desperately trying to hold into P6s. Oscar thinks about making it 3 wide. But down the inside, it does go Meowsy up into P6. Websy now going to try and have to hang on. And has the inside line at turn 7. Meowsy sort of just covered the inside line as Oscar's got to send a move down the inside. There's a little bit of contact. Yellow flag with one of the Ferraris at the back. Prince having a big moment. He loses a couple of positions because of it. Goes down to P9. Gregory, the lead hard runner now in P8. And Letter P's had another moment. He's down to P15. Had a moment at turn 4. That's a really wide moment for Websy. He's really struggling on these tyres and he has a half spin, you can see. Oh, and he spins into the side of Farmer Sam. Hopefully that hasn't given Farmer Sam damage, but he's lost his right side end plate. Websy, he's got both his end plates, so that little bit of end plate damage to the saw, it came off Farmer Sam. So Websy might be in a little bit of trouble for that. Obviously, not much Websy could have done in terms of he just had that moment, but unfortunately Sam was there. So final lap, Jono trying to maybe take the outside. He'll have a neater line. Problem is Yusuf will cover it off. There's a little bit of contact. Come on, give me the better angle. And there's contact. Jono half slides off Yusuf's side pod. Yusuf's really struggling with quit. Do we see the lunge down at turn 7? No, he won't. Jono, maybe a bit of a lunge at turn 12. Problem is Yusuf will have DRS from his teammate in front. So unless Yusuf, as I said, has a big error out of turn 12, I feel like this is going to be your 3 guys on the podium. Out of the last braking corner. I don't think it's going to be enough. So we'll head to Campbell Adams. Started on pole in the sprint and he's been dominant start to finish, and he will take the sprint here in Brazil. A 1-2 for Red Bull. Yusuf in second. Jono, great effort in P3. Couldn't quite find his way through the second of the Red Bulls. Fat Cat Batman in P4. Sajoshi P5. Meowsy in P6. Gregory in 7th. Farmer Sam in 8th. Websy dropped back down to P9. Prince in P10. The hard runners just couldn't quite get there in the end. Obviously, they were just sort of stuck in traffic a little bit too long in those opening couple of laps and couldn't quite do much. Gregory, obviously, with the wing damage he had as well. Logan in 11th, Ollie in 12th, Apollo in 13th, Oliver in 14th, and then Letter P will be the last one to come across the line. He'll finish in P15. Right, so that is the race done for the sprint. So we will now begin our usual normal quali and the race. Head over to your sprint details, and Campbell winner by 0.6 of a second. It picks up fastest lap. There's no bonus points there for the fast lap in the sprint, but he gets the honour nonetheless. Yusuf in P2. Jono in P3 rounds out our sprint podium. And then you've got Fat Cat Batman, Sir Joshi, Meowsy, Gregory, Pharmacen, Websy, Prince were your top 10. Pharmacen was your last of your point scorers in the sprint. He gets 1 point for 8th. So Websy, Prince, Logan, Ollie, Follow, Oliver, Letter P, and then your one and only retirement was Fraser Clegg, who retired early on in the sprint. So Campbell, Yusuf, Jono were your top 3. So we'll get into your race, your qualifying now. So looking overcast for these guys. So 18-minute session as we have loaded in. So 18 minutes qualifying. So I believe they'll have 2 sets of softs to use for this session, and either a medium or a hard depending on the tyre set. So you'd imagine 2 runs for the majority of the field. So it might be a little bit quiet in the first sort of couple of minutes, and hopefully we can see a little bit of track action. So I might try. I'll do this very quickly. I'll try and bring up the standings for Tier 1 that we can have a little bit of a look at. We can sort of run through a little bit of sort of how the guys have been going. So I'll get through that. Go through that shortly, as we do have a couple of cars coming out. Now, so who's that? It's a long pit lane. I think it's one of the RBs. Yazzy's actually rejoined. Farmer Sam. A little side-by-side action, as one of them was on the inters, one's on the full wets. You can clearly see that there's not too much grip. See, he's a little bit off track at the moment. So we see him go a little bit boarding. Large that for everybody. So your top 20. So you can see Jono coming into tonight. Jono had a 4-point lead over Websy, and Yusuf for the 6 points back. Meowsy and Fins were your top 5. So Jono finishing in P3. Websy was down and he didn't score any points. Yusuf picking up 2nd place. So that just closes up a little bit at the top. As we'll jump over to Fraser. Let's see if you guys is doing an intermediate run. So, as I thought, a lot of guys just obviously only having the 2 set of softs. Just don't quite have you don't have the viability, and especially if they do want to save a couple of tyres in the race, or a set of softs for the race, just in case. Didn't actually get a safety car last night in Tier 2 in either race. So none of the softs sort of were viable. So might see a lot of these guys not even worry about keeping a new set. As Gregory comes around the final corner, so Greg will at least get a lap time on the board, unlike what he did in the sprint. Oliver goes to 7.8 for their first lap time, as Gregory Prisball comes across the line, and he does a 7.1 to get us underway. So obviously, enters quali, the sprint quali. So there's the first real high impact fast laps that we're seeing of the night. So 7.1 for Greg. And then sort of pretty much now waiting on everybody else. So Ollie Stevens will be the next one to set a representative lap time. Comes across the line, that's Martin Driver. And it's a 9.4. So obviously that's not quite representative. Obviously we know Ollie can go much quicker than that. So a bit of a warm up. Maybe a prep lap, maybe. Logan on his out lap. So sort of while we're seeing that, team standings for Tier 1. So you got Williams leading the way by 32 points over over Red Bull and then Mercedes. Mercedes very close to Red Bull. McLaren not too far back. So it's very close in between. But Williams obviously leading the way. But no points scored in the sprint for them, so just something to keep that in mind, that they didn't exactly have sort of the best run through. So as we've got Logan going slow for some reason, so there's going to be I'd imagine another warm-up lap. He's going to go on that slow usually. Ollie's going to start his next hot lap, and he'll actually get a bit of a toe. Ollie through. So as we come down the straight between turns 3 and 4, second DRS zone. So I believe that was purple for Ollie. Definitely pushing this time, just keeps it within track limits. Now coming down the little dip at turn 9, back up the hill. So, turn 10, then he'll take the left-hander of turn 11, flat out. And then turn 12, you see the battery level on his steering wheel. That will pretty much be all depleted now. Down the start, finish straight, a bit of DRS. He'll try and hug the line as much as he can. So Ollie finds half a second, so 8.9. So still a second off of what Oliver in the Ferrari did, as Campbell Adams just cleanly puts in a 6.6. So had a couple of quicker guys. John is still out on the intermediate tyres. Logan is on a bit of a flyer. Purple himself. So turn 10 coming up for Logan. So laid out 11, and then he'll have one more braking corner left. Obviously up by 8.3 seconds. So that's looking at about a 9. And then obviously a quick lap time through here. Logan, what can he do? Can he stay in the 7s? He just misses out. 8.1 for Logan. P4. But again, second lap on those tyres. But he had he had an extra prep lap. Ollie had an extra racing lap. So that's where his time would have dropped off. So P5 for him. Fraser on a lap. Fat Cat Batman's just starting one. Farmer Sammy's just about to finish one. Scored a point in the sprint, crosses the line, goes inside the top 3. Nice lap, 7.5. How's Websy going? We'll stick on board with Prince, so he's going to be the next one across the lap. Obviously, the multi-time Tier 1 champion here at Inters. He was dominant in that era. And Purple in the middle sector. So Ken Prince didn't qualify for the sprint, but can he pinch pole position away from Campbell Adams? Crosses the line and won't quite be. 3/10 down. That's a very, very nice opening lap. Webbsy's invalidated this run. So Websy, it's not going to plan for him at the moment. Batcat Batman in the Sauber. He comes across the line. He goes P5. He's only just over a tenth behind Fraser, who chucked it into P3. So nice lap from Fraser. Greg goes a little bit quicker, goes a 7 flat. Again on the same age of tyres. So 7 flat, so nice lap from Greg. Prince. Still a long way off. Campbell sitting in pit lane. Will not surprise me if he's just happy to sit there. Websy's going to have to go again, you'd imagine. How's Apollo doing down that straight? Oliver's coming into the pit lane. So we'll stick... what do I want to be on? He's quicker. Well, Apollo's slow, so that's not it. Websy. So we said second in the championship. Needs to get a bit of a move on here. You get at least a lap time on the board. Purple in the middle sector. So he did start on the front row, but obviously that half spin cost him any points in the sprint. Websy hug pit line left hand side as much as he can. He goes across the line. He does get into the sixes, so that's into P3. Just behind Prince. And again, very close between second, I should probably say 3 tenths covering second and sixth, so very close with those guys. Yusuf's on a lap time, 17 flat for the first sector. So Josh, I think, did a 17.2. He does, he's 51.2 to the second sector. A very, very little slide off the curb. So Joshy, can he get up to the quick boys up front? And he's going to fall just short, 7.1. Again, very, very close. And you still got Yusuf, Jono, and Meowsy, 3 very quick drivers yet to set a lap time. Yusuf will be the first one. Can he make it a Red Bull 1 and 2 once again? Crosses the line. Only a 7.2 for Yusuf. Down to P7. That's how close it is with the top group. Jono will be the next one to come across the line. He's going to navigate turn 11, which he does. Turn 12, 51.2 to the second sector. And all battery from here for Jono. He'll be in that sort of top 6-7 range as well. Can he pip into the sixes? No, he can't. He just misses out. He's a 7 flat as well. Meowsy quickly getting down to him, just missing out on a top 3 spot, and just missing out on that 0.6. But Meowsy, second row of the grid. So Campbell's 3 tenths out in front all by himself, and then the next 8 drivers within 3 tenths, and barely anything separating him. That's how close this quali session is. So 5 and 3/4 minutes left to go in the session. So everybody will be trying to get their last run in as sort of late as they can. But they've all got bankers in. I'd imagine a couple of those drivers able to get into the sixes. But I have a feeling Campbell may have just a little bit more pace in hand. As letter P, lone one out on track. I think Jono's going again. So we'll jump onto him very shortly. So letter P, 51, another 51 going into the final sector. So letter P. It's about 7 tenths off sort of where the guys that got a 7 flat were. So he should be maybe a 7.5, 7.8. 7.8 for letter P. So P13. So going a little bit early. May have a little bit more time in it if he's got enough fuel. Other than that, it is going to be Oliver. He's the only one. He's on a bit of a warm-up lap, an out lap now. So we'll have a look quickly at our overall constructors. And this is after Mexico. So it doesn't include the last couple of nights of racing. So Mercedes with a 33-point lead over Ferrari and a further 17-point lead over Red Bull. So Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull, 3 teams. Red Bull obviously scoring max points in the sprint, so that will bump them a little bit higher towards the top. So Red Bull, I believe they've had a really good couple of races, so I think Ferrari did really well in Tier 3. They struggled a little bit in Tier 2. Merc had a decent Tier 2. So I'd be very curious to see how that sort of works itself out at the end of tonight's race when Cat does the standings. It's going to be very close as we head into our first break week of the season next weekend. So much needed break for a couple of drivers just to reset on where their opening part of the season has sort of left them. We've had a few driver trades already, so we might see maybe potentially another couple during the break week as we'll follow Oliver down around turn 11. 51.5 to the second sector. So will be the run to the line. He's got a couple more drivers coming out for their final runs. DRS for Oliver. 7.6 at the moment. Finds a couple of tenths, but just missing outside the top 10. It's very close. As I said, if a few of these guys have a little issues on their final laps and the other guys can just improve that little bit, there's a ton of space, a ton of positions that they can move up or down. So you just got to make sure you get your lap in at the end. Very important. So Greg, I think he's going to be one of the first. No, he's actually taking a double warm-up lap. He's gone slow. Logan and Apollo. So looking like with a few of these guys, you're just having that extra lap just to give yourself a bit of extra tyre temp. So we still actually don't have anybody on a hot lap. So Campbell and Websy, they're now out as we have a minute 40 left. So they won't have any time to do an extra lap. Well, no, I say that. Campbell just starting his final run now. I think he's going to be the first one to across the finish line. So last chance for Campbell Adams to extend that lead. He's got just under a 3/10 gap to Prince Websy behind. And he goes purple in the first sector. As we know, Campbell has been on it from the get-go. He's pretty much been on it on this game since it pretty much came out, having good results over in Europe with some of the leagues he's doing over there. So Campbell coming up to turn number 10. And just nice and clean. Will easily get past those 2 cars there. He comes to the second sector. He's a 50.6 for the second sector split. He's nearly 2/10 of a second up. If he can manage this gap or even extend it, it's going to be half a second that everybody else behind has to get. And he'll actually get a nice little tow from the Ferrari. And he does a 6.3 from Campbell Adams. Absolutely fantastic lap time. Yusuf, his teammate, goes into P2. He goes to a 6.6. Still 3/10 off. Prince is starting his last lap alongside Websy, who's gone quicker in the first sector. Meowsy's invalidated, and Meowsy will not get another lap time, so Meowsy will potentially be the driver in danger to actually lose position from that. Everybody else still looking valid, so Joshy will be the first one, I believe, crossing the line. No, it will be Ollie, I believe. He improves but stays P16. Sir Joshy, can he move further up? He goes to the third row, but everybody else behind on a lap. You've got Logan crossing the line. He jumps up ahead of letter P into P14. The other RB, Farmer Sam, slightly up. Can they jump into the 10? No, they can't. They just miss out. What about the McLaren? That was Meowsy. Gregory crosses the line. He goes to the front row, P2. Websy then takes his spot straight away. Oliver crossing the line. He goes 12th. What about the Aston of Oscar? Can he go to the top? He misses out by just over a 10th of a second. You got Fat Cat Batman in P2. Coming into turn 12. Sorry, letter P crosses the line. He stays 15th. Fat Cat Batman is the one we want to watch. Fraser in P7. Miaz in P8. So you got Fat Cat and Jono. Fat Cat stays 10th and Jono comes in. He's invalidated. So a few of those guys got hurt, couldn't finish their last laps. Meanwhile, Oscar, Websy, Gregory and Yusuf able to improve. And that is a very quick top 5 up ahead. Tibby, if trust us, if we could promote Campbell, we can. But as I said, he's just driving fantastically. And we know how well Oscar and Websy drive. But Campbell obviously just on that another level. So he takes both pole positions of the day. Sprint and feature. So Prince, Websy, Gregory, Yusuf, that's a strong top 5. Sir Joshy, Fraser Clegg, Meowsy, Jono, Fat Cat Batman, your top 10. And you had Farmer Sam, Oliver, Apollo, Logan, Letter P, and then Ollie Stevens round out your field of 16. So just sort of quickly get the all the results in. So 36 laps of Brazil now ahead of us. So Campbell and Oscar will be your top, will be your front row. Meowsy's unfortunately left the session. Hopefully he can get back in. If he can't shoot us a message, I think I may have you added, Meowsy. I'm not sure though. Obviously, just having a couple of little issues with the connection. So it's been overcast conditions pretty much all weekend here at Inters for Tier 2. Meowsy's in, but it will take him obviously a minute to rejoin. So hopefully, sadly, he's going to drop a couple of positions off the start, you feel. Hopefully he doesn't lose too much and he can sort of come back through. As we're just waiting for the last couple. As we have the 5 red lights on the last race of the weekend, Tier 1, we are underway, and it was a good start again from Campbell Adams. Oscar's going to have the inside line. No, Campbell was able to cover it. That opens up the door for Websy. He's got the inside line. He's a little bit more cautious that time around. You got a big crash at the back. A McLaren, you got a Sauber. So Meowsy was involved in that, so he dropped the positions. And I'm not sure if that was his AI car or if he's got control again, but Meowsy, that really hurts him. He's at the bottom of the pack. And they're about 4 seconds off, but Campbell, another great getaway, able to cover the